So I'm sitting in front of you today in this iconic jersey, not just because this is one of my favorite ballers of all time. We are 1 week away from Reebok coming back into the golf world with a bang, giving us something that's not just unique, but never really been done before, at least in the intersection of golf and basketball. I just want to take a second to shout out my guy, Tee Up Kicks with Chris. I actually found out about what I'm talking about today through his account. Like I said, Reebok is making a big comeback into golf. They signed Bryson DeChambeau. I'm not even here to talk about that. I'm not even here to talk about the pump. And the pump is one of my favorite shoes of all time. And every time I would go to a sneaker convention, I would always try and find retro pumps in my size. I never did. If anyone has some size 12 pumps they're trying to get rid of, holler at your boy Weekenders Weekly. But the pump golf shoe is coming back. John Daly famously wore these in the past. It's coming back in a very traditional saddle shoe style with that very shiny black patent leather. Got the pump button right in the side. I like these as well. I think obviously very traditional style golf shoe, very clean, sleek look, color palette. It'll be very versatile, and obviously the pump is the big draw there. But nah, we're here today to talk about the Question golf shoe. And the Question is the basketball shoe for none other than Allen Iverson, one of the best hoopers and handlers of all time. And I love this shoe. It's just, in my opinion, really iconic in terms of, when you think about what Reebok was doing in the 2000s. For me, I was born in 2002. So this is all when I was very young. And so I really just remember the Question, and I remember the Shaqnosis. Shaqnosis golf shoe. I don't know when it's coming, but I think the world needs it. Stay on the Question for now. But yeah, the Question is like just an iconic shoe in its shape and the color scheme. And I love like just the ice blue bottom on that. Popping with the red and the white is just, to me, always been so sleek. And when I first saw the picture of the sample, of the golf shoe sample, I honestly thought it was just a custom, or I thought it was just a one-off for Allen Iverson. And I was like, wow, that's great. Just another shoe out there that I've seen I'll never get to wear or even have a chance at getting. I was like, awesome. And then, a little bit more rumblings in a couple weeks, like, oh, these might be like a larger release, like these maybe this, that. But I just thought that it was going to be something like way in the future. Lo and behold, last week, we hear that March 25th, the Nano, the Pump, and the Question golf shoe are all releasing, and I cannot wait. You got the Pump in that one color, the Nanos in that white and like that black on white, but more black all over. And then for the Question, you got the classy black, but then you have that iconic red. And what I think is so cool about what they did with the Question shoe. Take Jordan golf shoes, for example, and I love them. I have a couple. But, you either have the regular shoe with some spikes on the bottom, or the shoe regular with just a little bit of like raised on the bottom. So not spiked, but just so you get some more grip. And Jordan golf shoes are always a little bit different than normal Jordans. Like they're maybe cut a little bit lower on the ankle, or they have like extra plates inside for more stability. But as a whole, you don't really look at them and see something different. Now, what Reebok did is they kind of took the Question and like the classic basketball sneaker Question, and fused it with the idea of a traditional golf shoe, creating an entirely like new shoe, something we've never seen before, a basketball shoe that has been reimagined, manipulated onto the surface of a golf shoe. Even like the curvature, the symmetry of the sides is kind of retained. Obviously, like the shape itself is lost, but you still get the idea of that movement. Look, as a huge sneakerhead, one of my favorite things ever is like showing up to a course in Jordan 4s or Jordan 6s. Like that's just awesome that we're able to do that. But I have a love for the traditional golf shoe. I just think it's an iconic shape, that like saddle idea, and you don't really see that in many other sports where the iconic and traditional footwear is still used. But with this Question, it's like just a completely new way of fusing modern retro, and we've seen modern retro fusions done before, not just in sneakers and clothes and golf and outside of golf. But when you think about Allen Iverson's image at that time, it was too much for the NBA. Can you imagine what golf at that time would have done with Allen Iverson? I mean, Anthony Kim and Ricky Fowler are almost bad enough. That speaks beyond the shoe itself. That speaks to the change coming into golf. And I talked years ago in a paper I wrote for my class. Shout out Professor Hollander, David Hollander, How Basketball Can Save the World. I wrote my paper, How Basketball Can Save Golf. And I talked a lot about how the dress code in the NBA was something that was really bad for player expression and for the growth of the game, and how that shift we've seen in golf is making a big change in how golf is growing and to who it's growing to. And I think that, yeah, to just the idea of the question finally coming to golf. We're at a place in golf where you have, enough of a fan base of golfers who are excited and will wear it on the course. Again, shout out TF Kicks with Chris. He was putting out some really cool mock-ups that were actually growing on me. I have to say, I still think the one that we got, the one that we're getting, is my favorite. It's just to have a traditional style golf shoe that looks like a question rather than just a question that with cleats on it. The third thing it shows is that the design team is putting so much thought and effort into actually trying to bring something cool for us. Like Reebok isn't just like, oh, cash grab. Nah, they really are trying to bring something cool into the world, not just for themselves as a company. Obviously, they see this niche that they can fill, but they know how iconic it is, and they know how dope it is that they're doing it and what it's doing for golfers and for hoopers. Shout out Hoops and Birdies. I love that account as well. March 25th, I think maybe 10 a.m. probably. You will catch me right at my computer trying to get these red ones, and I'm hopefully going to be able to unbox a pair for you guys. I'm hoping. But yeah, shout out Reebok for really trying to do something different coming into the golf space. Shout out Puma as well in that same note, trying to find their way in this crazy new world of golf. They got Ricky Fowler still going crazy with their marketing, but they got him in the Real Tree. They just did a collection of Palm Tree Club that is fire. A lot of florals on the shirts, on the hat. A lot of cool stuff. But that Reebok question is cooler than most, and I'm really excited for it. Shout out Reebok. Shout out Allen Iverson, man. Practice? We talking about practice? No, we talked about the Reebok question golf shoe, and we are hella hyped for it. So stay tuned next week for that, guys. And in the meantime, go play some golf.